My name's Alex Nearest. I go by Your Vegan Mentor One on Instagram, and I'm one of the Vegan Squad coaches. I've been vegan for about 6.5 years now. Definitely the best decision of my life. I've felt better mentally, spiritually, physically. Yes, I can speak louder for sure. Put my mic closer to me. Is this better? I can also talk louder too, but hopefully this is better. But yeah, I've been vegan for about 6.5 years. think it's the best decision I've ever made. Just feeling really good mentally, spiritually, physically. I felt a lot more energy once I became vegan, just within a couple of weeks of eating more vegetables and fruits, tofu, and just it was definitely a journey over time of incorporating more proteins into my diet, but it's 100% possible, and I'm excited to share that with y'all today. So going in the next 60 minutes, I will be sharing with y'all high protein vegan options so you can get enough protein each day, what gluten-free foods to eat to build muscle, lose fat, and get stronger. We're going to be touching base on a little bit on reading nutrition labels and also creating balanced meals. Those two are super important. Also be giving some bonuses here and there as well. But yeah, I'm excited to jump in. So give me a yes in the chat if, or you're in the right place if you're trying to eat more than 50 grams of protein each day, which trying to learn which vegan proteins are best for your goals. If you were here to learn what gluten-free foods to eat to achieve your health and physique goals, and if you're here to learn about how to build a balanced plate to fuel your body, I get it. I've been there too. When I first went vegan, I was focusing a lot of my diet on beans and nuts and seeds and all of the whole food, plant-based foods, which are great, but there isn't that much protein in there. Cool. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Yeah, these are kind of poor quality photos, but this is kind of what I was eating. In the top here, it was like lentils and carrots and some tofurkey when I discovered it, which is like a vegan deli meat. It's really good. It's got like 14 grams of protein. Fortunately, not gluten-free, but it's okay. And then, yeah, if on the very right photo, my meals honestly look very similar to this. It was like sweet potatoes, chickpeas, avocado. I was like, I'm getting all the protein from here, but really that plate probably contains like 10 to 15 grams of protein, which is okay, but we can definitely go higher. So yeah, if your plates look like that, don't worry, I've been there too, and I'm excited to show you all more of what I'm eating today and how you can build a more balanced plate for yourself. So, all right, drop a yes in the chat box if you want to feel strong and prove that being vegan does not mean being weak. If you want to build muscle as a vegan, if you want to lose fat, if you want to learn which foods to eat as a gluten-free athlete, and if you want to know how to stay on track towards your nutrition and fitness goals. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. Love to hear it. Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, mushrooms are great. They're super great replacement for meats, like the texture of them. I love mushrooms. Definitely, I'm excited to share some other more protein-rich options with y'all. Mushrooms have maybe a little bit, but not as much as we might be looking for. So a little bit about me. I am a trans man, if y'all didn't see in the photo before, but I'm gonna kind of go through the years with y'all. I know that I'm probably the only potentially gender non-conforming person here, but I can definitely relate to y'all with not feeling comfortable in your body or just not feeling like good about maybe some fat in some areas on your body. That was definitely me for a lot of years. On the very left-hand side, that's me about 16. I played a lot of sports growing up, played a lot of tennis, and I think I started lifting around that age. But I was always very focused on losing losing fat and building muscle, but I was definitely approaching it in not the most sustainable way. I wasn't eating enough calories. Like I was eating down to like 1,400 calories a day, which is just not sustainable at all. I was exercising like 6 times a week, and I was doing cardio on top of that and just had a lot of activity. So I was just not fueling my body. I was able to build some muscle over the years, but as you can see, I stayed pretty skinny over time. On the very left photo here, that was about like 3 years ago. As you can see, like pretty skinny still. I hired my first coach when like 2 years ago for about 3 months. I worked with John, who's the founder of Vegan Squad and also my best friend. He helped me put on muscle and do my first bulk, so eating more foods. I will be going more into like what bulking and cutting is and eating higher in calories and eating less calories. But yeah, I worked with him for about 3 months, and between the two middle photos, that's 6 months apart. So really, really cool to see my body finally transform. Definitely came from training harder, eating more protein, just eating more food in general, and fueling my body and making sure that I'm resting in between. And yeah, and then the photo all the way on the right, that's what I look like today. So about a year later, I've definitely been still continuing to build muscle and just excited to share what I've used in my journey so far to get me to where I am today. All right, so about 6 months ago, I started experiencing bloating, just not being able to eat large quantities and a lot of digestive stress. I put the pieces together and realized that my mom actually had colitis when I was growing up, which is a irritable bowel disorder. I recently saw a doctor and still do not have complete um, evidence or confirmation of if I am like allergic to gluten, but I remember that she did not eat a lot of gluten, so I cut it out. So I decided to get rid of the gluten, and it was definitely a huge adjustment at first. Um, I've been in a bulk for about the last year, year and a half, so I eat over 3,000 calories a day. So it's definitely really hard to figure out like what gluten-free substitutes to eat to get those calories. Before I went gluten-free, I was eating like pancakes every night and protein powder, like having protein powder and fruit and berries on them and nut butter. So it's definitely just a lot of food, and it was difficult to get those calories. So I'm excited to share what I eat now. Also, can others see the slides? I see Joni said that she cannot see the slides. So can someone confirm if you can or cannot see them? I can reshare my screen if y'all can't. You can. Okay. Joni, if you're on your iPhone, try sliding to the right of your screen. I think it maybe it's just showing like I think on the phone it kind of shows like different parts like of the presentation. So if you just slide to the right, it might help. But all right, coming back. So yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. Okay, perfect. Happy that helped. So yeah, today I'm excited to share how to eat at least 30 grams of protein in every meal, how to build muscle and lose fat as a gluten-free athlete, how to read nutrition labels, and how to build a balanced plate so that you are reaching your fitness goals and your nutrition potential. So type yes in the chat box if this would change your life. I know it definitely changed mine. And yeah, just excited to share what I've learned. Okay, awesome, awesome. Cool. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate it. Cool. All right. So first, I just wanted to cover the foundations of bulking and cutting and kind of just go through what each of those are. So for bulking, that means that we're in a caloric surplus. Our goal is to gain muscle with minimal fat. So as you can see between these two photos, the muscle definitely went up, but fat around my body relatively stayed the same. To achieve that, we want to eat about 250 to 500 calories above our maintenance calories. Our maintenance calories are calculated based on how much exercise we're getting, how old we are, what our height and our weight is, and yeah, just our activity levels. So there is a website called TDEE Calculator, and it just helps you calculate like what your maintenance is. Once we figure that out, we can add some calories to it if our goal is to build muscle and put on a little bit of weight, and we can just monitor our progress over time to make sure that we're eating enough food. And to do that, we would monitor the scale to see if it's trending up over time. On the flip side, we have cutting. So cutting is when we're in a caloric deficit. So the goal is to maintain muscle and lose fat. To do that, we want to figure out what our maintenance calories are, our TDEE, and we want to eat about 250 to 500 calories below that. And we will be getting a little bit hungry. So the key to that is keeping our protein high. Protein is the nutrient that helps stay full and is the key to this. I'll be going a little bit deeper into this later. I'm also going to drop it's just called the TDEE calculator. So if y'all want to check that out, but it'll just help you figure out where your maintenance is. It is kind of a guesstimate when you use that website and calculate your TDE. The biggest thing is we can figure that out and then we should start tracking our weight. If our weight is staying about the same, then we're eating our maintenance calories. If we're starting to lose weight or we're starting to gain weight, if we're starting to lose weight, then we're eating in a cut. And if we're starting to gain weight, we're eating in a bulk and a surplus. So we just want to track that our weight after we calculate our TDE to make sure that we are eating enough food or eating towards our goals. So, and then a little bit on macronutrients. There's three macronutrients. We have protein. That's the primary building block for our body tissue. As we all know, it helps with recovering and repairing our muscle after we tear our muscle when we work out. But it's also really important for keeping our skin healthy, keeping a healthy production of enzymes in our body and hormones in our body. And it also helps with satiation, which again, we'll get into later. Then we have carbs. Carbs are the body's primary fuel source. please ignore all people who are like, carbs are bad for you, don't eat carbs. Carbs are really, really important for our energy levels and for making sure that we feel good throughout the day. So we definitely want to have carbs in our diet. And then fats are also really important to have. They're very, very important for hormonal health and brain health. So we just want to make sure that we're having a balance of all of those. I'll be going into these a little bit later and how to create that balance plate, but just as a little start point for us so that we know what the macronutrients are. So, all right, the subject everyone's been waiting for. Let's talk about protein. So the king of protein to me is tofu. I think it's extremely versatile. There's a lot of different recipes that you can make with each one. I'll be sharing a couple on the next slide, but there are four versions of tofu. There's silken tofu. This one is the most soft. It's kind of like flan almost texture, super, super soft. This one's really great for sauces, or ice cream, but it has the lowest amount of protein in it. It's about 4 grams of protein per serving, and it's about 40 calories. So very low in protein, very low in fat, but it's really great for just a supplementary protein source. Then we have the red container, the firm tofu. It's a little bit more dense than the silk tofu, but still kind of soft. That one has 7 grams of protein for 70 calories. Then we have extra firm tofu, a little bit more firm again. This one has 8 grams of protein for 80 calories. And then my favorite, the super firm tofu on the very right side, that one's got 14 grams of protein per serving and about 130 calories. I think super firm tofu is my favorite, not only because it has the most amount of protein in it, but it is also the most easy to cook with, I would say, especially for people that aren't huge fans of tofu or are just getting into veganism. I think it's super versatile. There's tons of recipes to make. It also isn't very like soggy on the inside. If anyone's like, if you go to a Chinese restaurant or a Thai restaurant, you order tofu there, I feel like often it's a little bit like spongy on the inside. I think that most restaurants use like firm tofu. So not many people like their experience with tofu because of that. But if we use something like super firm tofu, it crisps up really nicely when we pan fry it. You can make something like tofu scramble, which I will cover in the next slide. But yeah, super firm tofu is the way to go for sure. So a couple of different recipe options with these. With silk or firm tofu, the more soft ones, you can make protein pudding. This is one of my favorite recipes. You just throw the silk or firm tofu into a blender. You can throw a bit of protein powder into there. You can put dates in it for a little bit more calories and sweetness. You can order like agave into it and just blend it up, and it makes a really nice high protein pudding. I think when I used to make it, it'll come out to like 80 or 90 grams of protein for like the entire serving. You can break it up into thirds or into halves and get between like 30 and 45 grams of protein. And it's a nice little snack. My second favorite, or one of my favorite recipes ever that I've made, is Alfredo sauce. So with this one, I'll do firm or extra firm tofu because the sauce comes out a little bit more like thick and creamy. But for this one, it's the extra firm or firm tofu in a blender. You put a lot of nutritional yeast in there, which is kind of like a cheesy spice that also has a little bit of protein in it, and B12 naturally contains B12, and then just salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and soy milk, and some Italian seasonings. But super, super good. Yes, tofu is soy, so it's made out of soybeans. Exactly. I will be showing a different version of it, which is soy free on the next slide, so stay tuned for that. And yes, I can post the pudding and Alfredo recipes. I'll actually be sending out my guide to vegan proteins after this. Not all of them are gluten-free, but you can find some of the recipes in there, so stay tuned. And then, yeah, we have tofu scramble. Have y'all tried tofu scramble? Do we know what it is? Let me know in the chat. Yes. Nice. No. Okay. All good. All good. So tofu scramble is a great substitute for eggs, kind of. You basically take a block or however much of a block of tofu that's in your plan, however much you want to eat, and you just crumble it up in your hands. It kind of makes like a scrambled eggs texture, but then you put some nutritional yeast on it, which is again that kind of like cheesy, high protein, high B12 spice on top of it, a little bit of turmeric, and just I like to put like a ton of onion powder, garlic powder, salt, paprika. Those are like usually my staples. But yeah, you just mix it all up. It gives it this really nice yellow flavor. You get the antioxidants from the turmeric, super good. The B12 and the protein from the nutritional yeast. And you can also throw some veggies in there, like in this picture, for instance, we got like spinach, peppers, and onions. So really, really, really good. Nice. Okay, cool. I'm happy you had tofu scramble last night. Yeah, it is awesome. All right, so for the soy-free folks in this chat, There is a version of tofu from this company called Big Mountain Foods. This one is sold at like Publix, Sprouts, and I believe Whole Foods, but it is soy free. Instead of using soybeans to make it, they use fava beans. They contain a lot of protein in them as well. This one has 4 servings in it, about 18 grams of protein per serving. And it has a similar texture to the super firm. It's pretty dense. So again, really good for pan frying it or for that tofu scramble. So I would definitely check this one out. And yes, to Joanne, yeah, there's a salt, black Himalayan salt, or it's called Kala Namak, but it has kind of like a sulfuric taste to it. It gives it that egg taste. So if anyone's a newer vegan and looking really likes eggs, that's a really good option. Or just egg. There's a company that makes vegan eggs. They make it out of mung bean, and there's like a liquid form of it in Walmart and most like mainstream stores. So check that out too. Is it firm or extra firm? The soy-free tofu. So the soy-free tofu, it's closest to the super firm, so very, very firm. Yeah, yeah, super good. Cool. All right, and then moving on, some other soy products. So we got edamame. Edamame is great, super easy snack to just have on the road with us, or you know, at work, wherever you're going. I know Coach Ali, she stopped eating popcorn at the movie theaters and now stops at a gas station before the theaters and heats up just like a frozen bag of edamame to bring with her, which I think is awesome. It's such a great way to stay on track with your plans and still enjoy a nice snack when you're in the theaters. But yeah, you can also throw it into the oven, make it a little crispy, like crunchy edamame with some spices on them. So super easy, about 10 grams of protein per serving. And then we have tempeh. Tempeh is also another form of soy protein, but it's a little bit different from tofu because it is fermented and they don't grind up the soybeans the same way that they do for tofu. So for tempeh, you can kind of see there's little soybeans inside of it. They basically just take the soybeans fermented in like a bacteria and then make it into this block. This one's really great. It's great for your gut health because of the probiotics, since it's fermented. It does have a little bit of like a nutty and bitter taste to it. So if you're new to tempeh or you don't really like tempeh, a hack that I found is cutting up your tempeh, throwing it in the pan, and adding a little bit of water to it to steam it. The steaming effect, it kind of helps get rid of that bitter taste a little bit, and kind of yeah, just takes away that taste. So for folks that are new to it, I would give that a shot. Or folks that don't like it, try it again. But really good if you just throw some spices or sauce on, so it covers up that taste too. And I think it's really good for your gut microbiome and your gut in general. Cool. Nash, I'm happy to hear that. Happy your wife likes the tempeh. I like it a lot too. All right, so some other soy-based proteins. This page will all be dry protein sources. So we have TVP, textured vegetable protein. It's got about 12 grams of protein per serving, very low in fiber, very low in fat. It's also one of the most affordable protein sources out there. It's very, very cheap. You can find this one by Bob's Red Mill at Whole Foods or Sprouts, and you can also order it in bulk from a website called Anthony's. But yeah, it's really solid. I like it because it is very versatile. You can make it sweet or savory because it's dry and needs to be rehydrated, and it takes on the flavor of whatever liquid you cook it in. So, for example, with the oats, if we make it with soy milk or berries or protein powder, the TVP will absorb those flavors and take it in, and it'll just add a little bit of protein to your meal. So if you're not a fan of protein, this is a really great option for like oatmeal in the morning. Just bumps up the protein content in there. Or if you like protein powder and you want some more protein, it's really good in the oats. You can also make cookies out of them. I don't have a recipe in my book, but there's tons out there, so check them out. But it's really, really good. And then we have the savory side of things. Yeah, I have not tried making the cookies, not gonna lie, but I've had them. Like I know Coach Ali has made them for me before, and they're really good. I would look up a recipe online. Just make sure they're macro friendly and not super high in fat. So yeah, if there is like peanut butter in them or something like that. But yeah, then we have the savory version. So the chili on the right hand side, you can either add it to the chili to boost up the protein, or you can substitute it for the beans, for the protein source there. Or you can make it in a pan. I got this picture out of John's cookbook, which we can also send out. You can find it on our website too. There's a free version of it there. But essentially, you can cook it with water or with broth, and it'll absorb those flavors. You can add spices to it, and then I believe here he just added some marinara sauce on top and some green beans, and you can throw it over like pasta or something like that. For me, I've been doing like gluten-free pasta or red lentil or chickpea pasta, and I'll boil that. While that's boiling, I'll put TVP in just a bowl and cover it with some water, throw it in the microwave. Once all the water has cooked out, I will put some spices on top of that. Once my pasta is ready, I'll dump the water and combine the TVP with the pasta, and I'll throw some marinara sauce on there with some nutritional yeast for a little bit of extra cheesy flavor on top of it. And it's really good, super easy meal. It's ready in like under 15 minutes and very high in protein. So just a suggestion there. Then we have another form of dehydrated soy called Say Grace protein. Say Grace protein is a little bit newer. It's similar to TVP, but the way that it's made, it's a little bit cleaner. It's called a soy protein isolate. So a little bit higher in protein for the same amount of calories. It's got 19 grams compared to the 12. This one I would not recommend making sweet, but it's very good savory. They have different forms of it. So the way that they make TVP and the Say Grace, they basically take the soybeans, they cook them, they grind them up into like a paste, dehydrate it, and then they make shapes out of it. So if anyone's had like soy curls or anything, same thing there. The Say Grace kind of similar to soy curls, but a little bit less in fat and carbs. So they have different shapes. They have like the bits, which you can see on the left hand side. Again, kind of like that marinara sauce that John made. These are all out of his cookbook as well. The middle one is a miso soup. So the Say Grace absorbed like the miso broth and the seaweed flavor and the mushrooms, and it was really good. And then the one on the right, a little bit more simple. I'm super lazy and like my meals fast, so I'll just throw my Say Grace with water in the microwave, same way that I said for the TVP. But if you want to get a little bit more fancy with it, you can put it into a pan with boiling water, and you can add a little bit of vegetable broth paste to it. So the Say Grace will absorb that broth flavor, and then you can add vegetables to it, like peppers and onions and mushrooms. But that'll be like your meat source. Yeah, like Nate said, it makes really good chicken. The Say Grace shreds are the longer ones. They make a really good like pulled chicken or pulled pork, and yeah, but without hurting the animal and without all the cholesterol and saturated fat. So really, really great protein source there as well. And I'll also have links to all of these in that protein guide that I mentioned later on. Young man, I am allergic to soy, watermelon, tomatoes. I'm a strange cookie. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, for the soy-free folks, the big mountain foods, tofu, that'll be awesome for you. Lentils, beans, nutritional yeast. There's protein powders out there that are a pea protein isolate, and they are soy-free. They're based out of peas, so I would check those out. And then yeah, just avoid the watermelon and tomatoes. There's definitely other fruits and vegetables out there, but yeah, I would focus for protein on the
Can I ask
probably
you a question when you're done?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. You can go ahead and ask it now.
Okay, I'm taking in all your ideas. I was on this, it'll be my third year as a vegan. Every day gets better. So now I really just eat green. Once in a while, maybe once a week, I'll have like rice or a potato. So, what is some of the gluten things I should avoid?
The gluten things to avoid. I would say pasta, bread, bagels. There is
You
gluten-free
said pickles?
bagels. Sorry.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
what? I just ate that yesterday.
Oh man. Yeah, yeah. Like any breads, they usually have gluten in them, so I would avoid those. But there's definitely
So,
alternatives.
just anything white, don't eat it.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah, like breads and stuff. But there are
Yeah, I
like,
don't eat that anyway. I don't eat that. I don't have no problem. That was
mhm.
one of the easiest things to let go. They
Okay,
don't have
good.
no bagel shop around where I
Yeah,
live.
cool, cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Uh,
All
I
right,
appreciate you
so just
asking.
avoid
Yeah.
avoid
Okay. I
a
appreciate that.
friend of
I
mine.
I will leave time for questions at the end for sure. And I will be covering some other gluten-free options as we keep going. I'm just on the protein section now, but I'll be giving some more options there later. But I appreciate you asking.
I didn't want to forget to. So,
You're good. You're good. No worries. No worries. Cool. All right. All right, let me just invite. And yes, there will be a recording sent to y'all later on, so no worries there. It'll be sent probably later this week once we edit it down. So y'all can rewatch this. No worries. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you right now. But okay, the last dry vegan protein is edamame puffs. They are kind of like high protein Rice Krispies almost. They got about 25 grams of protein for every 100 calories. Super, super versatile too. They're really great to throw them on your oatmeal for some extra protein, on top of a salad, into a smoothie. They'll have like little crunchy bits in it with the smoothie. Or you can make high protein Rice Krispie treats with them. You can just take some vegan marshmallows, vegan butter, melt it down in the pan. Once it's melted down into kind of like a fluff, you can add in the edamame puffs. And yeah, there's a couple recipes online, so check it out. But they're really good. Super easy snack just on the road. All right, and then kind of wrapping it up with the more whole food proteins, we got protein powder, which I know I kind of covered. For the soy-free folks, pea protein powder will be your best bet. Veg protein is soy-free as well. They use pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, kind of like a combination of seeds, but it's really good too. Most of the proteins from them are gluten-free except for the cookies and cream, but it tastes really good. All organic ingredients, and they also use stevia to sweeten it, so it's a little bit easier on some people's stomachs rather than like sucralose, which is found in other protein powders sometimes. Yeah, Sun Warrior is also awesome. Um, then we got nutritional yeast, which I've been talking about multiple times, but again, it's kind of like a high protein spice and it actually naturally contains B12. So if you have like 2 tablespoons of it a day, you get your daily B12 requirement. So you don't even just you need to supplement if you eat nutritional yeast or drink things like soy, like fortified milks, like soy milk. Soy milk is another supplemental protein, super easy. If you're swapping out, if you're new to veganism, this is your best bet. If you're swapping out cow's milk, it's got 8 grams of protein per cup, just minus the cholesterol and hormones and saturated fat from the dairy milk. So super great option. And then there is pea-based milk as well. There's a company called Ripple. They sell it at Walmart. I primarily shop at Walmart, so y'all be hearing me talk about it a lot. But yeah, Ripple is really great for the soy-free folks in here. And then we have lentils. Lentils are they do have protein in them. They are a little bit higher in carbs, but that's okay. Still is a solid protein source. The protein content depends on the lentil. Red lentils have the highest, about 13 grams per serving. I used to make really good red lentil tortillas. You can take the red lentils and soak it in water just overnight. And then the next day you can throw it into a blender and just blend it up until it's kind of like a very thin batter. And then just spread it out onto a pan, kind of like a crepe. You can make your tortillas. Super good. If you do like a half a cup of red lentils, that gives you about 26 grams of protein just from the tortilla itself. You could throw some tofu in there for the non-soy-free folks, or like a soy-free vegan meat on top of it if you'd like, or yeah, or just a salad, greens. What about the plant-based almond milk at Walmart? Yeah, so almond milk is solid too. It doesn't have that much protein in it, but if you're looking for just a dairy replacement, the almond milk is great, or oat milk. Really, any of the plant-based milks are pretty solid. Veg, peanut butter, chocolate, soy milk, and frozen banana is great. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Cool. And yes, the is the B12 in nutritional yeast only in the fortified? No, so B12 is naturally in nutritional yeast. It's just found in there. And then in fortified products like vegan milks or vegan yogurts, there is B12 in there as well. But if we're just eating nutritional yeast, it just has the B12 naturally in it. So awesome. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. I'm happy this has been helpful so far. I found oat milk is crossed with wheat. I did not know that. I primarily drink soy milk, so good to know. Thank you for sharing that. That is a great point. So yeah, probably almond milk is the best bet. Personally, I would say soy milk or pea-based milk, but yes, almond milk is also great. Coconut milk is solid. Just depends what kind and what the macronutrients are. We'll get into reading like nutrition labels and stuff, but sometimes coconut milks, especially the canned ones, can be very, very high in fat. So I believe there is a coconut milk out there just that's refrigerated where like the almond milk and the oat milk is that is pretty good in macros. Like it's not very high in fat. So I would just check the nutrition label and make sure that we're not like throwing it out of balance or getting a lot of fat from the coconut milk, if that makes sense. Good questions, everyone. Thank you for asking. Cool. Yeah, so delicious coconut organic. Yogurt. Yeah, I use So Delicious too. There's a So Delicious coconut yogurt. There's an unsweetened version and a vanilla, and they also have little yogurt containers. All of them are really awesome. I like to put protein powder into the yogurt and mix it in. It kind of makes like a protein yogurt, and I'll throw like some berries on top and nut butter or like seeds. It's really good. So definitely, it's like my favorite nighttime snack. CG's plant-based yogurt is great too. Yeah, yeah. All right, so moving into some of the vegan meats. These are all the gluten-free ones that I know of. I am not sure about the soy-free. I see on the Abbott's it says soy-free. So the Abbott's you can find at Target and Whole Foods and Sprouts, I believe. Um, got 18 grams of protein there and also 18 grams of protein in the Gardein beef. The Gardein is a little bit less expensive. But the Abbott's, the black box, has a little bit cleaner of ingredients. These are super, super easy. They have they're just easy to like throw into the microwave or add to your meals. Just a great easy boost of protein, and they both have really solid macros on them. Like they're higher in protein than carbs and fats, so it allows you to balance out your plate in other ways. And again, I'll get into that later in more depth. But and then yeah, dairy chicken is also really great. It kind of looks like chicken pieces and has a really good texture to it. They have different flavors. This one's the original, but I think they have like a lemony one and a buffalo one and I want to say like chili lime too. So really solid. These are all in usually in the frozen section. So I would check the frozen vegetable section. Teriyaki, thank you, Kami. Appreciate that. Then we got protein bars. The top two are gluten free. My favorite is probably the Builders bars. They are found pretty much in every gas station. They're awesome. I think my favorite is the peanut butter chocolate or the cookies and cream one. But yeah, they're gluten free, 20 grams of protein each one. Really, really solid. Lara bars are good. They are a little bit higher in fat, but overall they're pretty good. I like the taste of them too, but I typically do the Builders bars. But yes, the Lara bars are really good too, and they're a vegan brand as well. And then we got no cow bars. They're pretty solid. They kind of taste a bit chalky sometimes, but they're okay. And then Nugo bars are delicious. A little bit lower in protein, like 14 to 17 grams there, but again, solid snack. And the Misfits are also great. The all of these can be found at Whole Foods. The Builders bars can be found in most gas stations, like I said. I've been in the middle of nowhere in like Arizona and found it at a 7-Eleven, so they're just easy to have on the road and they're very accessible. And then the last of the protein sources that I have, the top one, Agro Puff lentil puffs. These are awesome. They're gluten-free. They're a Canadian company, but they are really good. They are great chips, very crunchy, very satisfying. They got 18 grams of protein for the whole bag, which is like unheard of for chips. And the entire bag is only 160 calories. So amazing. Definitely check them out. I don't think that they're sold in stores yet, but you can find them at agropops.com or just if you look up agropops, really good. We got only bean dried edamame, just easy on the road snack. I feel like they're sold in most stores. And then there's also Green Bites desserts. You can find those at greenbitesgo.com, but they're basically these little high protein desserts and they are gluten free and vegan as well. They vary in protein, but they have cookies, brownies, like little cakes. They're really good. If you get them, definitely heat them up because it makes them even better. But all right, so as y'all can see, the real problem is not that there isn't enough protein or you can't get enough protein as a vegan. There's plenty of protein out there, but the problem with building muscle or losing fat on a vegan diet is just the nutrition structure. So not knowing how many calories and macros we should be eating, not tracking our ingredients and foods. I will be bringing up tracking again later, but tracking is like the most important thing that I think anyone can do because it allows you to see where your calories are at, where your macros are at, and just gives you data about what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, what you're fueling your body with. So tracking is definitely key. It's also overeating carbs and fats and not building a plate around protein, which we'll be covering that a little bit more soon. And then also not choosing the best proteins for your goals. So eating enough protein is not difficult. It's just figuring out the right strategy that works for you. And our team can definitely help you with that. We would love to help you. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you, so getting a coach is definitely helpful. So, all right, I just want to cover how much of protein our bodies need and how much protein we need if we need to build muscle. So, for our bodies, we need much less than we think. Research has shown that the average woman only needs about 50 grams of protein per day. The average man only needs about 60 grams of protein per day just for our bodies to function optimally, for our organs to function optimally. So, if you're eating around here, you're doing great already. You're making sure that you're your body has enough protein just to function, just to help your skin be healthy, help your, the enzyme production, the hormone production. So if you're eating around this, great. You're doing great. Then a little bit different if we want to build muscle or lose fat, we want to bring protein a little bit higher. So we can do this together if y'all want to. There is a little formula. Science has shown that around zero point 0.8 grams of our body weight to about 1 gram per pound of body weight is our goal. So for me, I'm about 155 pounds right now. So my maximum, quote unquote, is about 155. And then I think my minimum, I will calculate it with y'all now. So we'll just do my pounds in body weight, 155 times 0.8. So my minimum is about 124 a day. So yeah. Do y'all want to do this together or should I keep going? I know we are. I did not realize I've been talking for 45 minutes. I still have some to get through, so let me know in the chat. All right. While we're thinking, I also wanted to say if you weigh like 180 pounds or more, I would eat your goal body weight in protein. So if we're trying to get down to like 140 pounds, I would eat 140 pounds. You don't need to eat like 180 grams of protein or 200 grams of protein. Just as long as you're staying around like 120 to 150, I would say typically where I keep my clients, and they still make a lot of progress. What if you want to lose weight? It depends how much weight you want to lose. It depends where your starting weight is, what your activity levels are, but yeah, I would say within that like 120, 150 range would be pretty solid. All right, I'm gonna move forward, but yeah, I don't need to lose weight. I need muscle. Okay, yeah. So if we are trying to build muscle and not lose weight, we want to be in that bulk, so in that caloric surplus. We would need to figure out your maintenance calories and then just start eating above that and tracking your weight each day to make sure that we're trending up. Another thing that our coaches do, and I personally do, and everyone on the team does, is we do weight tracking each day and progress photos. Weight can fluctuate based on what we ate the night before, how much water is in our system, how well we slept. So the weight is a pretty solid indicator just of like how we're trending. Like if we're eating a bulk, so we want our weight to be trending upwards. And if we're in a cut, we want our weight to be trending down. But the progress photos allow us to see how our physique is changing as well. So yeah, I would eat in a caloric surplus if you're wanting to build muscle, not lose weight. That would be the best bet. All right, so a little bit about bulking and cutting, just some challenges and strategies. So, challenge of eating a lot of food or of bulking is that you're eating a lot of food. So, solution to this are eating bigger meals less frequently. I eat like 800 calorie meals, like 600 to 800 calorie meals, about 3 or 4 times a day to get my calorie goals, and just helps me digest my food. I can go for a walk, digest it, and still have enough calories throughout the day. And then also using high calorie ingredients, which I will also be covering on the next slide. So I'll wait. But yeah, the another challenge is that we're eating a lot of fiber as a gluten-free athlete. So solutions to this are using low fiber options. Jasmine rice is amazing. Definitely would focus on eating more jasmine rice or white rice over brown rice. Brown rice, the rice still has the husk or the shell around it, which is where the fiber comes from. And jasmine and white rice has been stripped of that. So it is very, very low in fiber and it's very easy to digest. I would stick to rice over things like quinoa or like amaranth or like buckwheat. Those are all like pretty high in fiber, so we don't want to be eating too much because it might upset our stomachs. So rice, bananas, nut butters, those are awesome. Dates also are low fiber, high calorie options. And then cutting, our challenge here is being hungry. So the solution here is increasing protein and eating high volume foods, which I will explain in a second. All right, so food selection is really important for our bulking and our cutting. So again, if we're bulking, we want to focus on rice. It's pretty calorically dense, but it's easy to digest because it doesn't have a lot of fiber in it. Potatoes are somewhere in the middle, a little bit lower in calories, but easy to digest, easy on our stomach, and it can kind of go both ways depending on your goals. And then if we're cutting, we want to focus on those high volume foods. So by high volume, those foods are foods that are low in calories and they have a lot of fiber and water in them. Great examples of those are fruits and vegetables. So in this example, we've got squash, zucchini. So those those contain a lot of fiber and a lot of water. It'll keep us full throughout the day on top of that protein. Also, you can't have any of these foods in your cut or in your bulk. I'm not saying like you can only have rice or you can only have squash if you're in a cut. It depends on like your portion sizes as well, but these are just like what will help your digestion and your hunger levels in those if you're cutting or if you're bulking. So hopefully that made sense. Let me know. But then we got dates, really great for bulking. They are super high in calories. They have a good amount of carbs in them, just easy to snack on. For trying to make a more high protein snack out of it that's more balanced, we could do like peanut butter powder with water and maybe protein powder to make like a spread, and then we can fill the date with it. That's a really great and tasty snack to have. Apples can kind of go both ways, and then strawberries. Strawberries are a really great example of those high volume foods. They are low in calories, but they have the fiber and the water in them. You can have a lot of them and get, satiated with it with not that many calories. Again, bulking, well, we can have bananas. They have been a lifesaver for me. I'll have like 4 or 5 bananas a day, and I easily digest them. I'll do like 2 or 3 bananas in a smoothie. I'll throw them on some my oats and my cream of rice, and just have them in the middle of the day as a snack. Pears can kind of go both ways, and then watermelon, again, a great example of those high volume foods. If anyone's ever had a watermelon, they had a lot of it, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so full after a lot. It's because of all that water and fiber. So. Just a couple more examples of these. So for bulking, granola is great, very high calorie. I would definitely keep track of it as well so you don't overeat, but just a little bit easier way to rack up those calories. And then for cutting, oats are also great. They have fiber in them, so keep you full and satiated. And then last one, different forms of rice, also just great in general because again, it's lower in fiber. So as vegans, we can really overeat on fiber, so we want to make sure that we're not eating too much. But yeah, rice is great in all forms. So we can have cooked rice, like you can see on the left. We can do cream of rice, which I'll get into later. But basically, it's blended up rice into kind of like almost like a powder or like a fine powder, and then you just you cook it in boiling water. Kind of comes out like grits almost, but it's really good. I'll throw like protein powder into there. This morning I had it with frozen mango on top and frozen blueberries, and then sun butter on top. It was really good. And then for cutting, rice cakes are a really great option. They're low calorie, low fiber, so easy to just have a little snack like that vegan, or I'm sorry, the vegan yogurt with protein powder pudding that I had mentioned earlier. I'll spread that on top of the rice cakes sometimes, or just have rice cakes on the side. I'll throw some like nut butter on top of one of those. It's a good snack to have. Super easy. And then I'll go into these two to compare them in a minute. But again, for bulking, things like peanut butter are great. For cutting, powdered peanut butter is the way to go. It has the same amount of protein or just about, but the powdered peanut butter is a lot lower in calories. All right, so getting into nutrition labels, just going to compare two products so y'all can see, but I really want y'all to try to read nutrition labels when we go to the store. There's a lot of products out there that claim that they have a lot of high protein in them, but they actually don't, which we'll see. Like peanut butter is a great example. Sharon, can you explain why you want low fiber at times? Just like low fiber can be harsh on our I'm sorry, high fiber can be high. It can be harsh on our digestion sometimes. Like for eating like 70, 80 plus grams of fiber, it can just be a lot, and we can experience a lot of bloating, a lot of gas. So I try to stay, it kind of depends on the person and what your digestion can tolerate. I know for one of my clients, she was not feeling well with like 40 grams of fiber, so we brought her down closer to 30, and she was feeling a lot better with that. Some of my other clients and me personally, I can probably do like 60 grams of fiber a day and feel good. So it kind of depends on you, but yeah, I know John recently got a client. She was not being coached by a vegan coach beforehand. She was eating like 200 grams of fiber a day and like just insane and not feeling well. So yeah, the biggest thing with fiber is just digestion and bloating and gas. So just keeping it within that like 30 to 60 gram range is great for most people. Yeah, definitely read your labels. Wheat is definitely in everything, so we want to make sure. All of what I'm showing here is gluten-free, so no stress there. But all right, we got Beyond sausages. I'm gonna compare these to another product, but super important. We can look at the nutrition label first and be like, hey, it's got 17 grams of protein in it. Awesome. But I like to think of it in this like, I'll just make this visual for y'all like a macro pie chart. We can see that it has 17 grams of protein in it, but it also has 13 grams of fat. And for one sausage link, it's 210 calories. So very high in calories and a lot of fat. If we compare it to something like the Gardein vegan beef, we can see that this one has 18 grams of protein, so a little bit more, but very, very low in fat and very low in carbs and like half of the calorie amount. So it just helps us out a little bit. Like if we are trying to make a balanced plate, this sausage is going to be very high in calories. It's going to give us some protein, but it's also very high in fat. So we're not really able to add like another fat source to this meal. Like we might just have like potatoes as the carb source, and then the sausage is going to be like our protein and our fat source here. So that meal might not be as filling. But if we choose something like the ground beef, we could do rice as our carb source, the vegan ground beef as our protein source, and then we can do like avocado on the side as our fat source. So it just makes the meal more complete and rounded and allows you to just feel more full and satiated after your meal. Like I said, peanut butter, they love to label it as high protein, but if we look at the other macronutrients here, we can see that this is really more of a fat source than a protein source. So it's again great in moderation or if like depending on your goals. But again, if we're cutting, we want to choose something like the powdered peanut butter, which has more about the same amount of protein, but a lot less fat, a lot less carbs, and way less calories. Um, so yeah, just kind of depends on your goals, but I wanted to show just the difference between different products. So we just want to make sure that we're reading the labels to make sure we're choosing the most optimal ingredients for our goals. Another example, a lot of new vegans are beans are a protein source, but if we look at the nutrition label, we can see that beans are actually more of a carb source than a protein source. So we can use it as a supplemental protein, but it shouldn't be our main protein source on our plate because it is more of a carb source than a protein source. Let me know in the comments if this is all making sense. I know I've ran through a lot here. Just give me a yes if everything's making sense. I also know I've been throwing you a lot of information. That's a great point. Cool, cool, cool. All right, awesome. Happy it's helping, Cami. Is everyone clear on everything so far? Yes, yes. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. All right. So just some examples. Bean chili, for instance. So if we just use beans in this meal, we'd have a lot of carbs, we'd have some protein. If we wanted to boost up the protein in here, like I mentioned earlier, we could throw TVP in here in supplemental to the beans to increase the protein, or we can use the beans instead of, we can use the TVP instead of the beans to keep it a little bit more balanced. Where are you seeing the protein on the label? I will go back. Usually the labels are set out like this, but you can see protein here at the bottom of the label or like right above that thick black line. So you can see this one has 8 grams of protein. And then usually fat is at the top, carbs are in the middle, protein's at the bottom. So I would just check the macronutrients to make sure that we're choosing the most optimal products for our goals. Did you see it, Courtney? Also, just to confirm. Roger, cool. Roger that. All right, then my last example with this, but I've seen a lot of people make walnut meat. It sounds really good. I want to try it. I'm sure it's very good because it has a lot of fat in it. But if we use walnuts for our protein source in this meal, we're gonna be racking up our fat so much. So again, instead of using walnuts, we could use something like TVP or say grace. Our fat content would be a lot lower. We can get our fats from avocado instead and just have a more balanced meal with the protein and the fats and the carbs. All right, so my last point here is building a balanced plate. This is super important. It's a very, very big key to making sure that we're hitting our nutrition goals, making sure that we're getting enough protein, carbs, and fats at every meal. We're not overeating or undereating our calories. Building a balanced plate allows you to eat the amount you need to hit your goals of each macronutrient, helps you lose fat steadily, and helps you maintain and build muscle, and just make sure that you're fueling your body. So I'll run through this quickly, but essentially, we want to start with our protein. Covered these, but tofu, tempeh, edamame, protein powder, say-grace, TPP. So we want to get our protein source. Those, if we look at the nutrition label, the protein should be the highest on the nutrition label. Then we build our carbs in. So rice, quinoa, oatmeal, gluten-free pastas, potatoes, lentils, beans. We'll add our protein or our produce, so either veggies or fruits. And then we'll add our fat source, so avocados, nuts, chia seeds, hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. And then if you want to be a A player, you can add, or a A plus plus player, you can add some supplemental ingredients there to increase our probiotics. So, for instance, the vegan yogurt or vegan kefir or kimchi, those both have probiotics in them to help your gut health improve as well, or the nutritional yeast for the B12 and the extra protein there. So some examples of my plates. I told y'all the Alfredo sauce will come back, make an appearance at the end, but for this meal, my carbs are is the gluten-free pasta. For the fat and protein, because tofu does have a little bit of fat in it, it's the Alfredo sauce, which I mixed in. My veggies are the peas, and then my protein source, the one that has the highest protein on the nutrition label, is the Say Grace nuggets. It's another version of the Say Grace. For these, you just rehydrate it in water or vegetable broth, press out the water, and then you just cook them a little bit again. And I threw some buffalo sauce onto these. It was delicious. Then we got cream of rice. Like I said earlier, cream of rice, just like blended up rice, kind of is like similar to grits. I like to put protein powder in mine. So the carb here is the cream of rice. Protein is a protein powder. My fat source is the almond butter. And then my fruits are the mango, strawberry, bananas. Then we got my sweet potato meal. So for this one, my carb is the sweet potatoes. Protein was the tempeh. Fat was the avocado. Produce was the salad. So again, just making sure that our plates are balanced. Does that all make sense? Do you envision yourself making these meals and what does it all make sense to everybody? We're almost through it. I appreciate it. Okay, cool, cool. Thank you, Jamie. Yay, awesome. Cool. Yeah, keeping our foods colorful and balanced. So yeah, I know I mentioned this before, but definitely track your food. Use an app like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer. On the Vegan Squad team, we are very like we encourage our clients to use food scales. Food scales are the most accurate way to track our calories and macros. For example, there's 45 grams in a serving of oats. Should be half a cup. If we just use a measuring cup, we can get close to that. But if we like, I've weighed out a half a cup measuring cup of oats on a food scale, and I've gotten bit somewhere between like 45 to 55 grams of oats. So it just really throws our logging off. But if we use something like a food scale, we can really get it down to the gram, down to the serving size, and it allows us to have more accurate data of what we're eating. So those are my two little bonus lessons. Just to make sure that you're hitting your calories, hitting your macros, and you're eating a balanced diet. And you know what you're eating each day too. So, all right, I wanted to ask y'all, are you checking the nutrition labels on products currently? Awesome. Love that. Thank you, Princess. I appreciate it. I'm happy you're doing that consistently. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Always. It's a part-time job when having allergies for sure. Yeah, that and being vegan. I feel you. Only for sugar content. Okay. There's some good stuff here. I'm happy to hear that, Nash. Hope your wife also enjoyed. Always. Okay. Awesome. Cool. I'm happy you're already doing that. Yeah, definitely. We want to be balancing our plates. We want to be tracking our food, and we want to be staying away from junk food. Definitely try to choose more whole food options, healthier options. Just want to share a little bit about my clients. So I don't have a picture of my client here, but this is my client, Steve. He came to me, he had type 2 diabetes, or he has type 2 diabetes, and he had higher blood sugar. And he learned that a vegan diet can help him lower his blood sugar. And I actually have helped a few people lower their blood sugar and get off of their blood sugar or their insulin medication, which has been awesome. So Steve came to me as a new vegan, trying to figure out how to get enough protein. We worked together on that. And I pulled these pictures from his Instagram, but now he is on his own making TVP fried rice and this high protein pasta bolognese. I'm super, super proud of him. And he said in in my review, um, okay, type 1 diabetic. Yeah, a vegan diet is going to be a game changer. It definitely helps. The fiber helps with lowering your blood sugar and just making sure everything's more stabilized. I do see you need to go though, so no worries. Feel free to message me if you'd like on Instagram at your vegan mentor. Totally. Okay, yeah. So yeah, when he came to me, he didn't understand the importance or meaning of macros and how important it is as a vegan to watch how many grams of protein he's getting each day. But with working together, he's a lot more comfortable and confident with making a balanced meal and creating a vegan menu with a lot of variety. So I'm super proud of him there. These are some of our other clients. We got Tess on the left. She lost about 20 pounds in like 4 or 5 months. And then we have Jason on the right. About a 4 month difference here. He lost about 26 pounds. So we're super proud of both of them. And Our coaches have also been where you're at. On the left, this is Coach Ali. This is honestly an old picture of her on the right. She looks even more jacked now, but she's the one that takes the edamame beans to, or I'm sorry, the edamame to the movies and is obviously paying off. We got Coach Lynn. He lost over 70 pounds in a year. He's awesome, super knowledgeable, freaking rock star, and one of the kindest people out there. And then on the bulking side, we got Coach Alexis. She's been vegan for about 10 years. She struggled in the beginning with gaining muscle, but then she built her booty, as she always says. And yeah, just eating more food, training hard, and y'all know my story as well. So it's crazy to see the transformation over time as we fuel our bodies. So yeah, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Instead of not tracking our food, instead of under eating or overeating or eating a lot of beans and nuts and seeds for protein. All right, no worries. Thanks, Joni. Instead of feeling overwhelmed tracking or figuring out how to build a balanced plate on your own, finding vegan protein options that fit your goals, and just being lost in nutrition or struggling to apply today's information on your own. I know I throw a lot at y'all. I went over a bit, but yeah, instead of doing that, definitely hiring a coach. Hiring a coach changed my life, as y'all saw my comparison photos. Just being able to have closer to the body of my dreams in like 6 months and learning everything that I learned from him. I've been into fitness and nutrition for a very long time. Like I started tracking and working out when I was like 16. I didn't hire a coach till I was 22, and definitely like I learned so much more from working with somebody who's more experienced, who could take the guesswork out for me and teach me the tools so that I can sustainably continue with my transformation in the future. And I know exactly what to eat, how to train. So so yeah, definitely doing what works, hiring a coach. The way that our team works is we'll make a personalized nutrition plan for you. So like I talked about the TDEE in the beginning, figuring out your maintenance calories, we do that all for you. We build you a plan based on the foods that you enjoy, making sure the calories are balanced, the macros are balanced, just helping you make sure that you are sustainably taking steps towards your goals. We teach you about different vegan foods and teach you how to track so that you can use these tools sustainably over time as well. We also make a custom training plan. If you're looking to get into fitness, we do video form reviews, which is super, super important. That helps us make sure that you're performing the exercise safely, your form looks good, we're pushing the failure into our potential, and we're correctly performing all the exercises and not getting injured. Then we also provide daily accountability and support. We help guide you through every single step. You have your coach as your cheerleader, your mentor in your back pocket every single day to be able to talk to and to apply everything that we learned here tonight and to guide you through that. I love seeing some people, Courtney said, went down from 237 to 198. Let's go. Okay. But lost a lot of muscle. Okay. Okay. So now we can work to build that muscle up. Training is going to be huge. Like, definitely training to failure, making sure where macros and our calories are balanced. We're not just like cutting calories. We want to make sure that it's balanced over time and that we're sustainably losing weight, but also building muscle. So we would love to get in touch with you, Courtney. Um, and awesome, Jamie hired a coach and went through a total transformation. So worth it. Weight is relatively the same though. Look totally different in clothes and fit differently too. Yay, that is awesome. Awesome. No worries, Princess. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that others have worked with coaches here too. I definitely think it is completely life transformative. Um, I'll answer the other question in a minute. But yeah, so we are offering working with us here today. I'm going to drop a link into the chat real quick. If you would like to apply to talk with our team, please tap on the form here in the chat box. We would love to help change your life, to teach you all of the information that we have learned throughout all of our years of being vegan, through our own fitness journeys. The few coaches that I showed a couple slides ago, that's just 4 of the coaches in our team, including myself. We have about 12 coaches on the team, everybody with their own information, knowledge, journeys. Everybody is extremely kind and heart-centered in our team. We really see you and meet you where you at. We want to see you succeed. Everybody's just like super nice and just wants to encourage you and be there and provide the information and support for you, and is literally like that cheerleader mentor in your back pocket every single day. So extremely life transformative, and I would love to for y'all to experience that. So please tap that link below and fill out our application. We'll get on the phone with you and just learn more about you and your goals, where you're struggling, and explain how exactly we would support you. Yes, of course. Thank you, Ruth. Appreciate you for coming. Thank you, Jamie. Very helpful and informative. Yay. Thank you. Thanks, Courtney. I appreciate that. I'm happy this was helpful for everybody. And yeah, and for those who apply, we will be giving you free lifetime access to our community. We have an online community of vegans. There's also tons of resources in there like yoga and meditation, but there's a live chat room where you can talk to other vegans. For those who are vegan in this room, I think the hardest part about being vegan is not the nutrition or anything like that. It's like the social aspect of just not knowing other vegans, not knowing how to, navigate conversations. So that chat room has been awesome. And we also have live calls. If you want to hang out with yours truly, I do a community call every Thursday and we just hang out, get to meet each other, and just be around other vegans who understand how it is to be vegan, how to navigate the social circumstances. So, yeah, if y'all want to join, or when you apply and sign up with us, we will give you lifetime free access to our community. We'll also send you John's cookbook, and I already said this, but I'll be sending out my free guide. I'll send out my guide to all y'all so that you have it. But awesome. Just reading the comments here. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That is so awesome, Nash. Hell yeah. Wow. Lost over 160 pounds slowly and kept it off in a few, little over a year. Let's go, dude. I'm giving you a fist bump. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. Cool. Thank you, Cami. I appreciate you. I'm happy that the presentation was helpful for everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Just gonna drop that link again. Do y'all want to work with me? I'm down. I would love to be your mentor and guide. I chose Your Vegan Mentor as my name because I originally started coaching people on how to transition to veganism, but I also now do fitness coaching and it's just all fulfilling all around. I love meeting my clients, working with them, empowering them, helping provide the tools like not only with nutrition and training, but also mindset. And I'm very like holistic. Our team is pretty holistic, but I like providing like meditations and journaling prompts and just helping and also seeing you succeed in all areas of life. So yeah, have that link. I can also answer any other questions. I think somebody had asked if I tried the vegan egg whites that recently came out. I actually did try them a couple weeks ago. I thought they were pretty good. I think I was surprised, like the texture was pretty similar. I think it didn't like soup. Well, actually, I think it did kind of taste like eggs. My memory is blanking. It's been a it's been a long week, but it was very good. Have I tried intermittent fasting? I did at a before. Kind of depends for each person. I've learned from Coach Ali that for women, it is better to eat within like 30 minutes to an hour of waking up to help keep your hormones balanced. But intermittent fasting can work for people. Kind of just depends on your goals in your body. I have tried it, but I have not done it in a while, honestly. Do you do intermittent fasting and why, if you do? And if anyone else has any questions, please drop it in the chat. Also, I might end this meeting within the next like 5 or 10 minutes 'cause I know we went over, so I appreciate y'all sticking around. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, but we recently decided to donate $100 from people who sign up for coaching to the Riglin Dog Rescue. Have y'all heard of that? I assume that y'all have, but thankfully they are planning to free the dogs soon, but they will need supplies, I'm sure, like food and just housing supplies, and there's probably tons of legal fees. So we will be donating a portion of the proceeds from people who sign up for coaching with us to the dogs to making sure that they have a safe home and have the resources that they need. And we also have shirts that we recently made that say hashtag save the dogs so we can spread more information about them. And we'll be throwing in a shirt as well if you sign up with us. So again, tap the link. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mary. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming. Anyone else has questions or anything? I'll also drop that link again in the chat. What was the most impactful thing that y'all learned today? I'm curious. Also, if anyone struggles to drink water, definitely get one of these bottles. They're awesome. Makes it easier. All right, y'all. Give me something in the chat. Get your proteins. Okay, yes. Yeah, get your proteins. Now you have all the information of which ones to choose to. How to build a plate. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that was super helpful for me too. Cool. Thank you for participating. TVP and balanced proteins. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, everyone try the Say Grace too. It's really good. I think y'all will really like it. And it's a really great like vegan meat replacement. Or I'm sorry, meat replacement. Especially the shreds. I think that they're really awesome. So yay. I'm excited. The different options for protein and that beans are more of a carb source than a protein source. Gonna look into these new sources. Yay. Love to hear that, Sharon. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to hear or to see, hopefully to hear from you and see which ones that you like. No question, but love what you're doing, and we'll keep your phone number for advice and more information. Yes, please do. Thank you, Nash. Yeah, we're here. Please text me for the phone number that y'all received the message from is kind of like our work number. So please reach out. And yeah, if you have any questions, fill out this form, please. We can get on a one-on-one call with y'all and just learn more about you and your specific goals and what you've been struggling with and see how we can help you. So no pressure there or no pressure on the call to sign with us, but it could just be an opportunity to get some more information and see how we can help you. And also, we'd love to work with you too. But all right, y'all. Hey, my first year as a vegan, anniversary in October. Looking to go raw vegan next year. Okay. Hey, that's awesome. Congrats on being vegan for a year. I'm excited. Or what makes you want to go raw vegan? Curious. I've heard that I've heard that raw vegan is like you feel very good because like it's all fruits and vegetables and you get the vitamins and minerals from the raw foods. I've heard it can be a little bit challenging to navigate social environments, but I'm sure if you bring food and stuff, family cancer, proactive, yeah, 100%. Um, Honestly, well, yeah, I think you can prevent a lot, like just being vegan and ensuring you're getting your fiber, your minerals, your vitamins from vegan foods, whether raw or cooked. Like, I think that it's been shown by research that that is preventative in general. So, if you would like help navigating the vegan lifestyle, we're here to help. Only worried about losing muscle. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot more challenging to maintain muscle as a raw vegan. Definitely. I mean, you can eat like raw tofu and like uncooked tempeh and stuff like that. But yeah, I think like we don't need to be raw vegan to take proactive action towards preventing disease. Just being vegan in general and making sure that we're having those balanced plates, the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals, like as long as we're eating all of the right foods, that's what's going to be the most preventative. And also, yeah, with muscle. I think just sticking with the cooked food diets, you'd feel good too. It's just all about the balance, if that makes sense. I would love to talk with you if you want to talk, but like off the Zoom. But if you are open to it, and you want to talk with me, just fill out that form and we can have a private call together and we can just talk through like where you're at, what your goals are. I'd love to learn more about you. All right, squad. Well, it has been 15 minutes over the hour. I appreciate all of you who have stayed on so far. The form that I just dropped below that, if you just tap that link, it'll take you to our form. How concerned are you with oils and processed foods? I, cool. I'm excited to talk with you, Courtney. Um, so I'm gonna answer both of those. So with oils, I do not really use oil in my diet. Oil is the most calorically dense food in like on the planet. Um, it definitely, if we're using it, we want to weigh it with a food scale to see how many grams we're using in our food. That is going to make sure that we're not taking it like taking our fats really, really high and our calories really, really high. It's easy if we're not tracking it to just rack up the fats and calories in our foods. I usually use like a spray oil, like a spray olive oil or avocado oil, just a little bit to cover the pan. You can also steam your foods instead if you're trying to keep fat lower. So I used to like cook like kale or like zucchini, and I'll just put some water into the pan and steam those vegetables. It was still really good. With processed foods, I would say like I still eat processed foods like the fake meats and stuff. I think just in moderation. I mean, we definitely don't want to be having like fried food each day, like deep fried food, like vegan burgers and stuff, because that will drive up our cholesterol and just the saturated fat in our body. But processed foods like the vegan beef or vegan chicken, like I don't really stress too much about that. I feel like overall, as long as your diet is healthy, like we're getting our grains and our nuts, our seeds, our tofu, and probably like 80% or 70% eating like more like whole foods, we can still incorporate like vegan meats here and there. I think it just makes life easier, honestly. So I'm for processed foods, but in moderation. Do you use an air fryer? I used to. I moved out of my apartment and have not had. I'm living with John right now, the founder of Vegan Squad, and his girlfriend, some of her friends, just starting up the company and stuff. So I don't have an air fryer currently, but I used to use it. Yeah, I'd make like air fried sweet potatoes. That's actually a great point too, and to avoiding oils. So yeah, air fryers are the move. Make air fried tofu, sweet potatoes. Good. Cool, y'all. Well, I'm gonna drop the form again in case anyone else wants to check it out. But yeah, tap the link. It'll get you. Yeah, of course. Thanks, Sharon. Have the best night ever. But yeah, if you tap that link that I just dropped in the chat, we can talk one-on-one on the phone. We'd love to meet you, hear your goals, see how we can support you. We have coached over 600 people, helped them build muscle, lose fat, build their mindset as well throughout the coaching process. I think that achieving your goal physique, and it's not even really about the physique, but just balancing your nutrition, training, getting exercise, getting movement, all those things boost up your confidence over time. So that's what we do. We boost up your confidence, helping make sure that you're not alone in the process of figuring out the nutrition, the training, and what to do, your routine. We're here to guide you and be your mentors throughout the process. So we'd love to hear more about your journey, hear your goals, and support you every step of the way.